You're not lazy, you're not broken, but every time you scroll through social media, compare your timeline to someone else's, or wonder why you're not where you should be, a quiet voice whispers, you're falling behind. But what if that voice is lying? What if the whole idea of being behind is a trap designed to keep you miserable? The myth of the linear life path. From childhood, we're handed a rigid script. Graduate by 22, get a stable job, marry by 30, buy a house, have kids, climb the ladder, retire. This linear path is deeply embedded in our culture, promising success if we just check each box on time. But life isn't a straight line. It's a winding, unpredictable river. Psychologically, this rigid timeline conflicts with the true nature of human growth. Development is non-linear, full of stops, starts, regressions, and breakthroughs. We don't evolve like machines on a production line. We grow like living organisms, sometimes bursting with growth, sometimes retreating to heal. When you feel behind, it's because you're measuring yourself by an artificial standard. Perhaps your soul needed time to heal from trauma, or your life circumstances demanded detours. You might be learning lessons others skipped, or developing inner strength in silence. That's not falling behind. That's your authentic journey. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Becoming yourself doesn't have a deadline." The myth of linear progress creates anxiety, shame, and self-doubt. It blinds you to the unique timing of your evolution. Success isn't about speed, it's about alignment. You're not late to your life, you're on your own sacred schedule. The world needs your unique growth, not a rushed version of someone else's script. Comparison is a psychological illusion. When you scroll through social media, you see the highlight reels of others, promotions, travels, relationships, celebration. Feels like everyone else is accelerating while you're stuck. This triggers a psychological trap, comparison. Comparison is a cognitive distortion. It tricks your brain into believing you're lacking, when in truth you're only seeing a curated fragment of reality. Humans have evolved to notice status differences for survival, but in modern life, this instinct often backfires. Social media amplifies this by showing impossible ideals, creating a false narrative that everyone else's life is better, faster, fuller. This triggers feelings of inadequacy, anxiety, and shame, fueling the "I'm behind" story. But beneath the surface, everyone is struggling with their own battles, doubts, and delays. The success you see is a polished facade. The messy parts are hidden. Psychologically, comparing yourself to these illusions erodes your self-worth and disconnects you from your own unique path. Breaking free means recognizing comparison as a trick. It's choosing to measure progress by your own values and growth, not by someone else's highlight reel. When you stop comparing, you reclaim your time, energy, and peace. You're not behind. They're not ahead. You're simply on your own journey, hidden from the filters and likes. The manufactured timeline, school, job, marriage, house. The expected life timeline is a cultural invention, not a universal truth. School, career, marriage, home ownership, these milestones have been marketed as a checklist for happiness. But this narrative often ignores individual complexities. Psychologically, this timeline is a collective story that pressures you into conformity. If you don't graduate by 22, find a job by 25, marry by 30, you're told you're failing. But trauma, mental health struggles, economic realities, and personal discovery don't fit neatly into these boxes. The pandemic, economic shifts, and social changes have exposed how fragile and arbitrary these milestones are. Many are redefining success away from these markers, realizing that life satisfaction comes from meaning, connection, and authenticity, not a set of social benchmarks. When you feel behind because you haven't hit these milestones, it's because you're buying into a manufactured story that ignores your unique journey. The real question is, what do you want, not what society says? Redefining your timeline means reclaiming your freedom from external expectations. It means honoring your pace and values, even if they don't match the norm. This shift reduces anxiety and opens space for true growth. Your worth isn't measured by your job title or relationship status. It's measured by your authenticity, resilience, and presence. How social media hijacks your self-image. Social media is designed to hijack your brain's reward system through endless dopamine hits, likes, comments, followers. These create short bursts of pleasure but also dependency and self-doubt. Psychologically, the constant barrage of curated perfection rewires your self-image. You begin to equate your value with digital approval, eroding internal validation. When your self-esteem lives on social media's terms, it becomes fragile, fluctuating with each post's performance. This breeds anxiety, depression, and the toxic belief that you're not enough. The scroll becomes a rabbit hole where you chase a manufactured ideal that no one can truly reach. You feel stuck in a loop, comparing, craving, then crashing. But your true self-worth can't be found on a screen. It lives in quiet moments, away from the noise, in self-compassion, deep work, and connection with your real world. Breaking free means setting boundaries, detoxing regularly, and questioning the stories social media tells. It means reclaiming your narrative and recognizing that real life is messy, imperfect, and beautifully authentic. Your value doesn't need validation from a screen. It needs your own respect and care. The inner critic. Whose voice are you really hearing? That nagging voice telling you you're behind, not enough, or a failure isn't your true self. It's your inner critic. Often a distorted echo of past wounds, cultural conditioning, or toxic beliefs absorbed over years. Psychology shows that this critical voice comes from internalized messages from parents, teachers, peers, or society. It was once a survival mechanism, pushing you to improve or avoid harm, but now it traps you in shame and fear. When you believe this voice, you lose touch with your inherent worth. You confuse self-criticism with self-improvement and punishment with progress. The result? Paralysis, procrastination, and that heavy feeling of being behind. Healing begins with recognizing the critic's voice and questioning it. Who is really speaking? Are these beliefs true, or are they stories you've been told? Mindfulness and self-compassion help you detach from the critic's grip. You are not your inner critic. You are the observer, the compassionate witness who can choose to believe a different story, one rooted in kindness, growth, and acceptance. When you quiet the critic, you make space for your true voice to guide you forward, at your pace, on your terms. The trauma of feeling not enough since childhood. For many, the feeling of being behind traces back to childhood wounds, neglect, criticism, or unmet needs that created a deep sense of not enoughness. Trauma imprints the mind with limiting beliefs about worth and timing. Attachment theory shows how early relationships shape our self-perception. If caregivers were emotionally unavailable or conditional in love, you learned that you must earn approval. This creates a lifelong pattern of chasing validation and feeling chronically behind. These internalized messages drive perfectionism, anxiety, and fear of failure. You're caught in a loop, trying harder but never feeling satisfied. Psychologically, this is the not enough wound, a core belief that distorts your reality. Healing trauma requires gentleness and patience. It means reparenting yourself with compassion, building new neural pathways that affirm your worth is inherent, not earned. This shift releases you from the prison of not enough and the toxic timeline it enforces. You stop running a race set by old wounds and start living from freedom. Your past doesn't define your future. You are whole, worthy, and exactly where you need to be. Redefining progress, depth over speed. Modern culture worships speed and quantity. Faster promotions, more achievements, constant hustle. But true growth is about depth, not speed. Psychology shows that meaningful change comes through cycles of reflection, integration, and slow unfolding. Like a tree's roots growing deep before the branches bloom, your inner development takes time and patience. When you redefine progress, you stop measuring by outward milestones and start valuing inner maturity, emotional resilience, and authenticity. This mindset shift reduces anxiety and frees you from the race. You appreciate that slow growth often leads to lasting transformation. Real progress is invisible to others. It's in the small daily choices to face your fears, set boundaries, or heal old wounds. When you embrace depth over speed, you reclaim your power because you're no longer chasing a timeline but honoring your unique rhythm. Living from alignment, not achievement. At the root of feeling behind is confusion between achievement and alignment. Achievement is about doing. Alignment is about being. Psychologically, living out of alignment means you chase goals that don't resonate with your true self. Careers, relationships, lifestyles that satisfy others' expectations but drain you. When your actions don't match your values, you feel empty, lost, and constantly behind. This disconnect creates inner conflict and chronic dissatisfaction. True freedom and respect come from living aligned with your authentic self. This means making choices based on your values, passions, and intuition, not external pressure. Alignment brings peace. It doesn't erase challenges, but gives you the strength to face them without losing yourself. When you live from alignment, success is redefined. It's no longer about speed or comparison. It's about presence, integrity, and joy in your own unique journey. You're not behind. You're finally on track. You're not behind. You're on a different path. One that requires you to wake up, unplug from the lie, and reclaim your time, energy, and truth. Real success isn't loud. It's not fast. It's not even visible to the world. It's internal. It's emotional freedom. It's peace. And the moment you stop racing to catch up, you start living on your own terms. That's when you finally arrive.